And Soto and Chad here with week one of the NFL fantasy season, NFL scores, all that. Soto, we kind of did this last year as a joke. We kind of looked at you never did a parlay. So we did the weekly shows talking about picks and parlays. And we picked every score, every game, and had some crazy ass parlays for the fun of it.
We sure did.
But you know what?
We sure
As fun
did.
as that was, it was like, goddamn, because we literally talked about every game. So we are bringing that back somewhat. I think we're going to talk a little bit more fantasy now that we're both in the same league. There's going to be very interesting talk coming out of this past week's games. We might, we're still going to talk some NFL games, but we're not going to look at each one in depth and pick who, only the ones we choose to. So, but anyhow, yeah, we're going to probably do this.
Right?
No. I mean, we might look forward, be like, hey, this is a game we're looking forward to. Obviously, I got to talk about my Bears collapsing. You might want to talk your Pats, just maybe what a good game was, but we're not going to go all 18 games. But it's like what we always do, Soto. Whatever comes up, and it's what we talk about. So let's start with Go ahead.
We should start with last night, because I think last night says a lot about everything, but last night.
So the Bears. Oh my. Bears. Obviously going this season, and we've talked about this. Caleb Williams second year. We'll get to Drake May's second year. All these QBs. To me, it's always the second year. This is what you need to see. And obviously the Bears brought in Ben Johnson. There's a lot of similarities between Pats and Bears going on right now. Bears revamped the offensive line. So yeah, last night I did watch that game from start to end. And I was at first I was like, okay, I'm liking it a little bit, but I'm like, I've kind of seen this before. And I know a lot of people,
first drive.
Well, not just the first drive, they're the first half in itself. And Caleb Williams.
How positive?
No, most of three and a half. Well, there's not positives. I'm going to get to that in a sec. I don't know. I know you're watching Raw a little bit, but you know what? Caleb Williams did a lot what he did last year. Safe throws. He actually tried to make the best decisions that he can. He did miss some, like there was on the first drive, he missed Rome. Rome had a step deep and it would have been an instant touchdown. Our fantasy would have been over. I would have beaten you early, but we're going to get to that in a second. And the problem is there was a lot of false starts for the Bears. There was some penalties I didn't agree with. The phantom pass interference. You can't blame it on one thing. The Viking guy fell down. He twisted, but he pulled, like the other guy was near him, so they just thought he pushed him. Whatever. But I was so fucking. In the moment, I was just pissed because that game was lost. There was a shot time where I think they should have gone for a field goal. I know their kicker missed the field goal, so they were in this game, and that's all I kind of asked for. But their bye is week 5.
Leading this game. They were leading this game.
They lost in the fourth quarter.
They looked good. And then, I mean, JJ McCarthy.
Well, JJ McCarthy had one good quarter.
He was shaken, but but he did fucking, that was his first NFL game?
Correct. So technically this is his second season, but yes, this was his first game because he was injured. So this is another of that class that we're going to kind of see. And I can't call him a second year. So no, the Bears, I don't know what the fuck happened in the fourth quarter. Penalties, dumb plays. Caleb Williams had a stupid play. He got tripped up and he was trying to throw the ball away. Intentional grounding, 10 yards. They were like 3rd and 30 or 2nd and 30. It was just like, it kind of felt, but they kind of came back late. So we'll see. Because
he looked panicky. He looked panicky in the pressure moments.
I don't know about that.
Like Caleb Williams.
No, you didn't come. When did you start watching? You didn't really start watching until the second half, probably, right? Or were you watching the whole game? Because you were watching Raw.
Oh no, I watched Raw because I had to watch, the AJ Lee segment and everything. Which, by the way, just as a short tangent, because nobody's fucking listening, anyways. Can I just say that? So I've started watching wrestling since January, right? So I'm like 9 months in, right? Like this year is when I started watching wrestling. You've been the keeper of me watching wrestling again. I feel like the best stuff has happened in the Seth Rollins CM Punk rivalry. Like the most crazy shit. This feud has been going on pretty much all year, right?
Yeah.
I mean, he had John Cena had his match with CM Punk, and he did the whole pipe bomb thing, and I get that. But the Seth Rollins CM Punk feud now with Becky Lynch and AJ Lee, so this shit's pretty good.
We'll talk about this more to the end, but I want to bring up a point. Okay. It's funny because we talked about the Bears. Do you remember last week's show with Becky Lynch saying, because they're in Chicago when AG, and she's like, "Oh, Blackhawks suck. Oh, your Bulls suck." Do you notice how she didn't say the Bears suck? Because
Probably,
Seth Rollins is a huge Chicago Bears fan. He's been on Chicago radios making picks, so he is actually a Chicago Bears fan. So that's why she went. She went all the other teams, but she said nothing about the Bears. So, but you're right.
Wow.
This rivalry, but yeah, the back to the Bears. They melted that fourth quarter. Caleb, there was just some bad 3 and outs, and we'll see. You can't win them all. It's how they pick it up. I think the defense should have had a better shot against JJ McCarthy, because for 3 quarters, JJ McCarthy looked like a deer in headlights. Finally, their running game worked. Jones and I forget the other guy who's Mason, because they picked up Mason.
Yes. Yep.
They they could not run the ball. The Bears defense is decent. I'm not saying top notch, but they're a good streaming option for fantasy depending on who they're playing. And you would have got some.
The Vikings on the road.
Yeah. They did better than the Vikings defensive wide. Pick 6. So the Bears did what the Bears did, and it brought me back to reality. I'm like, this is it. This is where I need to be. So we'll see, because they play Detroit next week, and if they go, basically their bye week is week 5, and that's going to be the telling part about Caleb. I said this before. If they don't make the playoffs, Caleb Williams will not be the starting QB next year. Ben Johnson's here for a few years, because I think they're trying to build something all around, and they can slot a QB in or draft someone. I know a lot of people are joking about Archie Manning or whatnot, but I'm like, no, they're not going to have the number 1 pick. Minnesota showed up. Their defense, they showed up in the fourth quarter. And Chicago, the kicker, missed the field goal. They didn't go for it, and you should always just take the points when you can. Not to say he would have hit that one early, but it was like a 45, 50-yarder. This was kind of first half, so they were in it. But the problem was, again, a lot of these were safe plays. Now, I will say, here's the one thing I truly like. This is the Ben Johnson. And this is where we're going to talk about. So me and you are facing each other this week in fantasy. Our for week 1, first time.
Sure.
And I had Rome Odunze. And
you did. Yeah,
all he needed for me to win was about roughly 10 points. It was like 9 and whatever change, more than 9.5, I think. And I joked, I'm like, all right, just give me a 35-yard touchdown early, done. And I'm looking as the game goes on. I'm like, all right. I'm like, if I lose, because Soto, let me tell you something about football. Every week, this is my talking to the football gods. This is my deal that I ask for them. If my Bears don't win, at least let me win in fantasy. If my Bears lose, so like, give me one or the other. And Soto, because back to what Ben Johnson did on that 3rd and 1 short, and that is what Ben Johnson, that was finally, I hate to say it, trick play, just something different. Rome was wide open in the back end zone. Everyone thought they were going to run. They even faked like the outside corner. They all came in, bang, bang, bang. And it's funny, because in my work league, my other league that I do, I have a friend, and he also had Rome, and he need roughly. So that touchdown won it for me against you, because I know you texted me right after that happened, but it also won for him. That it just surprised so many people. So I like that. We're gonna see how Caleb does. He's got to bounce back. He made a lot of smart decisions. The problem is he made basically 2 dumb decisions, which lost the game. That intentional grounding, take the sack. Like, he got tripped up. I mean, he made some fantastic runs. He did what he can. I'm going to remain hopeful. It's a game they should have won, but you're going to lose some games that, you're not supposed to. It's the way the NFL is. So I know they got booed out of the stadium because of the way they lost it, but you know what? All you got to do is win. That's the same with any NFL fan base. They just want to see something different. So, and then if we're going to switch, now let's talk about your Patriots. All this hype about Vrabel and Drake May, and I've said this, and I might get a little hate. I don't have as much, and this is coming from a non-fan. I don't have that much of love of Drake that I think a lot of people do. And I know it's when it's your QB, it's a different take, but it's funny because all last year is like, well, no, he's the future. He's made some good throws. And I'm like, you sound like Chicago Bears fans. You can't talk about throws. You need to talk about wins. And that, from what I saw in the past,
his arm is legit.
Yes. No, do not get me wrong. It's the decision.
But Jeff George also was a fucking great quarterback with an awesome arm, but he didn't really win shit. I think that here's my perspective as a Patriots fan, because again, I'm not trying to be all high and mighty, but I've said this before. I am not as emotionally invested or pissed off in the Patriots because I went through that 20-year run. So if the Patriots like suck for a long time, for the rest of my life, okay, yeah, for the rest of my life.
No. This is just an honest question because sooner or later that goodwill that 20 years got you.
But like, I will never see that again. Like, even if the Patriots draft a quarterback that is like way more talented than Tom Brady and just has all the like physical attributes and everything like that, like, there's no guarantee. There's like no guarantee that you're even going to even replicate that success or come close to it. Will the Patriots win a Super Bowl, here and there for the rest of my lifetime? I mean, sure, I expect it. If they don't, I'll still be grateful that I went through that 20-year run, because most fans, and this as a Chicago Bears fan, that's not like every NFL fan's experience. Like, obviously you have dynasties that have come through. The Chiefs are like the latest one. But, I can say from like for 20 years of my life, and I'm 44 years old, like for 20 years of my life, I got to see the greatest, like, team that could possibly be, with 2 dynasties, 3 Super Bowls in each and everything. And then Tom Brady going off and winning a 7th one. So like, I'm not like, I don't have the angst that you have built up in your fandom for the Bears, because the Bears have, the last time they won was 1986, right?
Oh, if you're talking about Super Bowl, I don't even care about that. It's just more about.
No, but you have like a level of like, I mean, you get pissed at the Bears, or like if the Bears do what they did last night.
I would have rather them got their ass kicked and I go to bed early.
But most people are just like, of course, the Bears. Like, Bears fans are like, great, here we go. The Bears fucking were the Bears. But like, I'm not, like, I had to sit through Mac Jones. Okay, Mac Jones wasn't it, although he might be the starting quarterback this Sunday when we're talking about fantasy. But like, I don't know. I mean, if May's the guy, cool. But there was a certain level of unprofessionalism last year with Mayo as the coach. And just a lot of bad juju by how Robert Kraft separated from Bill Belichick. And it just was like a bad decision made, and it was like they had a reset and they had to go with Vrabel, somebody who was an ex-player people would know. And that was the expectation, that it would raise up the professional. There'd be more football team. They could like kind of get a do-over from last year. And from watching the game from beginning to end, although I was more interested in watching like Genty and like Thornton Jr. in that game.
Well, that's because we have him on fantasy, correct?
Because we have him on fantasy, and I was just interested to see like, what they look like in real life. But what I found with the Patriots as I'm watching them, like, this is very much like last year's team. Like, Drake May is going to have flashes of looking really good, which Caleb Williams had. And then he's going to have moments where you're like, what the fuck? And then they have a new rookie left tackle, and he was responsible for just like 3 sequences of terrible plays.
Mm-hmm.
All starts, like, you could just tell it was his first game. You could tell he was just kind of shitting his pants. So it didn't put a lot of faith in me about the Patriots for this year. I thought the Patriots were going to be, quite honestly, I thought that they would at least be a 10-win team. But after I see that yesterday, I'm like, well, I don't know. But the Dolphins are terrible.
Yeah, that's 2 wins. Well, I will say this, and then I want to talk a little fantasy. Yeah, like, this goes for the Bears, both Bears and Pats. Bears maybe a little bit more just because they have more of a receiving core. Their offensive line problems were the same. But if the Pats were to make it at 9-8, that would have been for this year. I would have called that an impressive season. I know a lot of because I'm like, there's just no way. And I'm sorry, they're just not there yet.
9-8 record?
Yes.
9-8
I would say that
9-7 used to be the record.
Yeah, we're in 17 game seasons. Basically 500. If they made it to a little above 500, that's an impressive season for them, because I still don't think they're there. Next year, that's where because again, now it's like, let's see where Vrabel takes Drake May. Because again, there's hopes. It's a lot of the decision. He has a fucking arm. You're right about Jeff George, and that might be his career. He just might be like the Bledsoe. I can gun it, Cutler, whatever, put him in that meathead category, for lack of better terms. And that's fine. That's a career. But is it a starter? Same thing with Caleb Williams. So I'm like, I want to see how this year plays out. And we'll go from, so, and same thing. If the Bears are 9-8, I'd be like, that I would have been like, okay, that's a win because that is a step in the right direction from the last 3 years. Even if they just missed the playoffs, I know a lot of you hear fans, and as you know, Pats fans like, oh, we're going to the playoffs. No, I'm like, I don't have envisions of Bears making the playoffs, but I need to see them compete and do better than last year. And like I said,
they're just in their division.
They somehow again lost it in the fourth. So let's talk fantasy. Yes, I did beat you. I won both my games and I survived my guillotine. Yeah. And so
wow,
I was kind of like seventh or eighth. It felt safe. But Soto, I'm going to kind of repeat to those who did not try the guillotine. It's basically, you just don't be last. Every week, whoever's in last place gets cut. And what happens, Soto, is all their players go under waiver wires. So now, but it's not just like waiver wire picks. You have like an $1,000, money, fake money, obviously, and you bid. It's like an auction, but you only have that throughout the season. Once you spend it, it's gone. So you kind of know. So that's really the game. Like, how much do you want to build your team now, or do you want to save it towards the end where more people might have spent their money and you get later players? Because every week this happens. But Soto, let me tell you which players are now on the waiver wire of my guillotine. So first of all, QB Dak Prescott. Okay, whatever. Wow. Chase Brown. Nico Collins. Wow. Those three fell. Tyreek Hill. Jones. Aaron Jones. Wow. Because this team, they were last place and his team fell. So I did put in a moderate bid for Chase Brown. And I say moderate because I don't know. I don't know how the other people are going to bid. And if I lose, then I still have my 1,000. And that's fine. Like, I'm kind of learning how to play, but it's like, this is how but you have to learn to build your team a little bit differently in guillotine. And that's kind of why I want to try it. But yeah, so like, for example, me and you both bid on Chase Brown. I bid 2, you bid 250, no matter the waiver wire, you win. But if we both bid 200, if I had the first pick and you had the second waiver wire pick, I would get him because the auction's the same. So that the waiver wire matters as a tiebreaker only. So if you wanted to go all out, just say, like Saquon Barkley came in and you're like, listen, my team's stacked. I can win with this. But Saquon Barkley's the winner. You can put all 1,000 on him. You have nothing. Now, once that first day of waivers passes, it's free. Like in regular fantasy, it's free game. So it's like you just pick up. But so right now, because in our league, there's not much for Pickens. So you can. Oh my
God!
Yeah,
I know.
Luckily,
terrible.
So luckily in our league, I don't know if you noticed the moves I made because I'm like, I need a backup tight end. I'm like I need to prepare a little bit, and there's no QBs. I actually did pick up Flacco because I'm like, when Brock Purdy's on bye, Flacco plays Tennessee. That's my best hope because it's like Flacco and then Russell Wilson and Sam Rett, whatever the Saints QB. So there's only 2 QBs left that's starting, unless you want to pick up Mac Jones, like if that happens. So that's my concern because a lot of these teams picked up 2 QBs. I don't want to have a bye week, so I do have Flacco on my bench. But here, let's talk about fantasy. The number one, Josh Allen. Speaking about a game of the week, the Ravens, number 1 fantasy, almost 40 points. Soto, do you know who the number 2? I don't know if you're looking, you have it up, but do you know who the next 2 QBs are fantasy wise from week 1, point wise?
I mean, Baker got me a lot of points than I was expecting.
I will tell you this: Baker is not in the top 5. He is actually 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. He's 11th. Caleb Williams scored more than him. Michael Penix Jr. scored. He did do well. 20. Well, I'm looking at PPR stats. I know we're in half. So yeah, he was 11th. But yeah, you want to hear who number 2 and 3? I mean, dude, Aaron Rodgers did better than Baker. He had like 4 TDs, not a lot of yards. Number 2.
He was mad about the Jets thing, though. He runs off spite.
Yes. Yeah, he does.
Aaron Rodgers.
He definitely does. He was playing the Jets, but you know what? The guy he was playing against, Justin Fields, number 2 QB last week, almost 30 points.
Yeah,
he had.
I almost picked him up in the draft.
He had 2 rushing TDs and 1 passing TD, so he did that. Number 3.
Good.
Number 3, Soto. Daniel fucking Jones.
Yeah, Danny Dimes.
2 tasks, 2 rushing TDs, kind of like Justin Fields, and 1 passing TD. So I'm just like, again, we don't know how long it is. And Lamar Jackson was
because last year the Saints looked good at the beginning. Remember?
Oh yeah,
last year
their defense. I had that defense.
Oh man, the Dolphins. What talk about a team that looks like they are in early trouble. Big time. Like a team that is their coach is already in the hot seat after game 1, after
God,
what they lost 30-0 to the Colts, right?
They lost. No, hold on. 33-8 was the official score. They probably
Oh
the last
yes,
second
yeah,
one.
they did score.
Yeah,
Yep,
yeah.
they did.
But it's fun.
Not looking great.
Speaking about the Bills and Ravens, yeah, Lamar was fourth. But if you stacked up on the Ravens this week, you won. Derrick Henry was the number one running back. 5 more points.
Beast, Derrick Henry.
Zay Flowers. Yep. I had Zay Flowers last year, and he had one, maybe 2
That's what I'm saying. Like Zay Flowers scored points.
28.1, number 1 wide receiver fantasy wise last week. Keon Coleman. Wow. We talked about Coleman. Remember we talked about Coleman? I know. Number 2. He was the number 2 receiver. And again, it's early, but it's just that Buffalo, obviously that high scoring Ravens-Bills games helped. Tight ends, I picked him up in our league because I knew without Taysom Hill, he was going to kind of be Juwan Johnson. I didn't start him against you. I think I'm starting him this week. And just because he is the safety net. But he had 8 receptions for 76 yards, and the best defense was the Broncos. So, yeah, no, I just laughed looking at the QBs. I'm like, I knew Justin Fields did well, but I'm like, oh my God, number 2 and number 3, Justin Fields and Daniel friggin' Jones. Excuse me. My Taco Bell. I actually had Taco Bell today.
I mean, I have to ask you.
Yeah.
Like, would the Bears be better off with Justin Fields right now?
So I've said this, and I'm going to say what I said back then. Before when they had that number 1 pick and that took Caleb Williams.
Yeah.
Remember, they traded that first pick, which they traded to Carolina, who took Bryce Young, and that's how they got DJ Moore and 2 future first-round picks, which they ended up getting Rome. They had a lineman, so they were building their team in the draft, so that was smart. The problem with that year's number 1 is because of how many QBs were coming out, I don't think they got enough. Justin Fields would have been in year 4, so that would have been his 4th year if he stayed with the Bears. So my initial thought, and it was this, hard part with Justin Fields is this, athletically fucking gifted. The only downfall I ever saw him was leadership. And that, kind of like I'm not comparing him to Cutler. Cutler has a much better career. Justin Fields could surpass him still early, but you know what? It's that.
Hey, Cutler?
Yeah. Right now Cutler has, if you're comparing the two, Cutler is a better quarterback than Justin Fields, but Justin Fields still has a lot. It's
of course.
I felt if they could, it was one of 2 things. One, I did want them to trade away that pick because keep rebuilding. Because I always said if Justin Fields doesn't work out that 4th year, then you can go for maybe a free agent QB the next year, just someone that can fill in. Because now you would have built a lot in the draft. You might have some free agency, which they did for their offensive line. And who knows? But Justin Fields did get better, but it was never to the progression they wanted. So also the only downfall is some players like to sit out that 4th year of that contract until so that was obviously could have been a concern. So I think they did it just to get out of that. I don't know. You know what? Would they have been better? Maybe. I know Justin Fields and DJ Moore had a better connection. I know Caleb's trying to build that connection with Rome because they came in the same draft. I don't know. It's maybe. Last night was the first time I've seen Caleb Williams make smart runs. I know I joked about the one where the trip. So last year, obviously he got sacked. I think they said the 3rd most in NFL history, with the 65 sacks. It was the most sacks in the year.
I believe it.
So, you know what? It was hard to see, and that was also Justin Fields, not his problem, but, he had to deal with that offensive line the year before. I think Fields is a little smaller and has those quick elusive moves. But when Caleb went, I was watching him run, I'm like, holy shit, when he gets going, I'm like, all right. Mm-hmm. It's now for me, it's that decision making. Ben Johnson needs to unlock that. He missed a couple, I don't know if he didn't look downfield, but I don't know if they would be better. Because again, Justin Fields would have stayed with the same offensive line. But I would have been interested in who they would have taken, if he didn't work out, who they would have taken this year. What would have happened differently. So I can't play the what ifs. I feel they would have been the same. I think Fields, yes, he had more experience, but he always kind of looked to run first, but that's because of that offensive line. Him and DJ Moore definitely had chemistry, but I don't know. I know Williams is trying, he's actually putting in the work. It's now we got to see it on the field. You know, he's trying to not just be a runner; he wants to be a pocket passer. He does want to build him and DJ, whatever. Like there is a little friction, but it's not. But we'll see. I think they would have been the same. I just think it would have been a different thing. But if they were able to trade that first round pick, if they would have got what they got last time, 2 or 3 first rounders, if someone was willing, then yes, I think they would have taken that trade. I honestly think because there was Caleb Williams, and remember, hindsight's 2020. So let's go back. There was Caleb Williams, there was Jaden Daniels, there was Drake May, and then you have like Michael Penix, JJ McCarthy, Bo Nix. Like that is still a huge fucking. These guys are, yeah, we're talking about all of them. They're making, yes, we talk about Williams and May because they're our team, but they're starters and they're still doing things that we haven't seen in a little while. Like you said, you're seeing a little difference in the Patriots. You just want the next step. I'm seeing a little difference. Bears need the bigger step because they got more talent around Williams than what May has around him. I don't know. And I am excited to see where the rest of the season. I can't judge it week 1. Now, week 5, when they're on their bye, if Bears are 3-1, I'm fine. If they're 2-2, but I'm telling you this right now, if they only have 1 win or 0 to 1 wins, I can tell you right now, a lot of people are going to want to check out their backup. And we'll see, because I said this is the year Williams, Williams can, if Bears make the playoffs, Williams is set for the rest of his rookie contract. If the Bears end up with another 4 or 5 win season, yeah, they'll keep Williams the last 2 years, but I'm telling you right now, they'll get another QB. Almost like, what happened to a lot of QBs in this situation.
Remember back in the old days where it's like you would have like these young QBs like not play for a couple years while they just watched like some older starter, and then when they were ready they would come in. They wouldn't be like these guys come out of college and they're supposed to be the guy from the jump is ridiculous.
It is.
And I think that I just think that it's not like it's way crazier to do that now because like obviously trends happen and guys get good from the start, but like I remember Peyton Manning just throwing 4 interceptions a game.
Oh yeah, he has
like on the first year he was a starter, like like he was bad, but he worked through it and then he learned and then he got better. Obviously, he became one of the greatest like quarterbacks of all time. But you got to give guys a chance to fucking learn, right? Or what's the deal with that shit?
So times are different. The rookie contracts are very much different because you got to remember back then they were a lot smaller. And yes, I mean the Green Bay is the only difference because of the way they're owned that QBs can sit a little bit longer because their deals can be done differently. You're right. I mean, hard part for the Caleb Williams situation is there was no starter in front of him. There was no veteran QB. Like when Justin Fields first came in, he had Dalton. Now I'm not saying Dalton was going to light it up, but Dalton's been around. He's been around. He's won some, lost some, but he was very middle of the road. But he was able to teach Justin Fields a little bit. Honestly, 2 different play styles, but I love that chemistry because Dalton and his wife, like the instant Justin Fields like landed in Chicago, he grabbed him, took him out to dinner, just like hey, he knew the situation. Dalton knew it was 1 year. Like, even though he signed a 2-year deal, that the idea was Justin Fields would be the next guy. So he knew, but he wanted to mentor him. And I have so much respect for Dalton, what he does, for that. A lot of things he does outside of the NFL, but you're right. He had that. Whereas Williams, and I think probably Drake May in the same boat, like there was none. They didn't sign. So if you can, the problem is then you're wasting that money. But you just said Manning. Now, not everyone can be paid in Manning, obviously, but
right.
You do sometimes have to throw them in the fire, see what's your situation. Like, okay, we're going to suck anyways. Get them in there, see what they do, and we can learn on the go. And I don't know. It's a different
beast. NFL, the speed of the NFL is like just out of control. Like to throw like a 22, 23-year-old kid into that situation and then expect him to run a franchise. I mean, look, there are outliers and those become legends, but my God, man.
Yeah.
It's just like to be so fickle to be like, all right, we're on the next, like if it doesn't work out in a couple of years with Caleb. I mean, I guess you either have it or you don't.
Correct.
Right. Is that like you're thinking it's like, listen, you either have it or you don't have it, or at least we have to see that there's like actual like signs that you're about to get it kind of a thing. You can't just be the same mid guy over and over again.
100%. And going back to Justin Fields, yeah, his time in Chicago, you know what? There was a lot of highlights. Yeah, he never made the playoffs. But you saw year to year, the team got better. They went from the 3-win season where they got DJ Moore the following year, then 7 wins. So I'm like, okay, that's improvement, and that's all you can see. But then you look, okay, maybe that it wasn't a good mix. He had fucking Eberflus as a coach who, probably didn't know what to do with him. So then he goes to Pittsburgh and he's supposed to be back up to Russell Wilson, but he starts whatever the first 3-4 games. And you're like, well, hold on a sec. There is something here. And again, he didn't change his style that much. He was playing the same game, but it worked a little bit for that beginning of Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh, if I remember, got off to a decent start. And then Russell Wilson came in to finish it off. I mean, he did show why he,
no,
I mean, going back to last year, like, yeah, a lot of people were worried, like, keep Fields in, but then Wilson, yeah, he played great for Pittsburgh. What he did, he got them to the playoffs. They both did. And now Fields got paid. He got the 2-year, $40 million deal with the Jets. So you can get that. You're right. So you can fail, but it also could be, all right, what if this other coach atmosphere works better? And that's going to be the same thing with Caleb Williams. I just think he came in with too much hype, being obviously the number one pick. I don't follow college ball that much. So it's like, I don't know. People say, well, everyone talks shit that they saw it from the beginning. I'm like, no, you didn't. I'm like, you can never tell. Jaden Daniels could have a bum year. We don't know. Well, I mean, we'll see. And it's like, yeah, everyone that loves him last year.
This happened so much. Like, I mean, go ahead.
Oh, I didn't say anything. I lost your voice a little bit there. So go ahead, repeat that.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Oh, no. I was just saying that things can change pretty quickly because I mean, Herbert or whatever his name is in San Diego Chargers, or I'm sorry, Los Angeles Chargers. We were talking about him in 2022, 2021, and it's like he kind of disappeared. Like he was like an it guy and then disappeared. So Jaden Daniels, like, we don't know what the fuck's gonna happen with that guy.
No, and I mean, I want him to do well because I have him in my work fantasy league. So, but that's my point. He had a great first season, but you know what? We've seen other QBs. If you remember RG3, hell, I know you hate to hear this. Mac Jones had a great first season for the Pats. He took them to the playoffs.
I saw it.
I know
it was decent.
Yeah, but he did what he had to do. He got them to the playoffs, and then they ruined him the following year. I'm not saying he would have been able to handle it, but when you have your defensive guy be the offensive coordinator and your offensive guy be the defensive coordinator, like, what the fuck are you doing? But anyhow, that's why I always say I like to see the second year. And this is for guys like Caleb Drake, but also for guys like Jaden Daniels. Yeah, he had a great first year, rookie of the year. Washington went to the NFC Championship game. God damn, that's a huge first year for a rookie. All right, now what? Can you kind of repeat it or at least compete? Yeah, he might not make the NFC Championship, but is he in the talks of being, MVP? Or are they going to be like 6-11 and be like, he that's it. So I'm always excited about football. I love football and I'm ready for it. I was like I said that last night's game. I'll tell you something, Soda. I was not planning on staying up late. Obviously work in the morning. I'm like, all right.
I'm surprised you texted me back. Well, that was for your morning.
So, all right, I got a story for you. I got a story for you. So honestly, I'm like, all right. Do I go to bed? I'm like, if I win fantasy against Soto, and I'm like, do I go to bed? And the game was close. Like, even though the Bears had that good first half lead, I'm never satisfied. I'm like, yeah, they've been dominating the first 3 quarters, but they're not pushing it through, and that's really the Bears' problem right there. So when the Vikings scored to make it 2 scores, and at the end of the game, like JJ McCarthy, I think ran it in. I was like, fuck! I brushed my teeth. I put everything away. I lied down in bed. And I'm getting ready and I'm setting my alarm. And then I kind of see Cole Kmet's big catch. I'm like, wait, it's not even 2 minutes. I'm like, where are they now? So I kind of go back to the game. So I'm lying in bed. So I stopped watching. And I'm like, oh, okay, there's still a slight chance here. And yeah, and I'm watching it again in bed and lying down. And then Rome catches it. And then it dawned on me, like, oh, fuck, I just beat Soto in fantasy. Like, the last garbage play.
I watched that shit.
I love that play because again, I was like, okay, are they just going to try and power it up the middle, which a lot of teams do? You're like, hey, and oh nope, they're going to fake it and go to the outside, and they went fake, and then Rome. It was a brilliant play. It was brilliant because it worked. We always say that, and if Rome would have dropped it or overthrown it, people were like, why didn't you run it? Obviously, from the Pats and the Seattle, Super Bowl, the same thing. you can think of it, you can try and outsmart it, but if it doesn't work, you got to answer to it. So that works. So we'll see. Next week they play the Lions. We'll see. But yeah, I laugh. I'm like, I won all my fantasy games, but my original plan was maybe halftime if Rome would have, somehow to gotten my 10 points, I beat you and whatever. Like, I need to go to bed. I was ready. I'm like, I am out because I think it was like 11:30, which is late for me on a work day.
Yeah. I'm aware. That's why I was like, again, just expecting you to see my "you fucker" text on there, because I'm watching it too, and I'm just like, it's the last like few couple of minutes, and I'm like, I just want to see, I just want to make sure with my own eyeballs that this guy doesn't fucking get a cheap ass touchdown. And as soon as Caleb Williams fucking injured DJ Moore on a fucking pass, I was like, don't you dare. And then when they were 3-1, I was like, you better fucking run this shit. And when I saw him dropping back, I was like, I'm like, throw that to a tight end in that situation. And I saw his name come up and I was like, you know what? I fucking deserve to lose. Like, I was just at that moment, I was like, you know what? My team underperformed in every level last week. Not every level. There's a couple things I want to point out. Like, so to bring it back to fantasy.
Yeah, go ahead.
And the pain. It's all intertwined, man. It's fucking Correct. Football. And like, how do you not watch football and not do fantasy at the same time? So, my biggest worry was wide receiver depth all off season and then leading up to the draft. And I'm like, this year I will not get bamboozled on wide receiver depth. And not a single one of my wide receivers scored 5 points in a half PPR league. Like Pickens, 30 yards, 3 receptions. Jameson Williams is boomer bust, so whatever. But Ridley, that one I knew was going to be a problem because he's being guarded by Patrick Surtain and the Broncos, so I knew that was a risk. But I'm not at the part of the season, because it's the beginning of the season, where I'm going to be making crazy fucking benching decisions that are outside of the norm. I'm just not there yet. So, I could have started Dante Thornton, who got almost 6 points, but I wasn't going to bench. I just didn't know what Dante Thornton had, so I wasn't going to go there. But I will say, I was pleasantly surprised that Christian McCaffrey gave me some production. I liked Baker. Chase, I kind of wish the Bengals had more than 7 yards in the second half.
Yeah, that was a shock.
Because that would have helped me out. But that they just sputtered out of control. But I saw some things that I liked, and then again, but my big money spot, which is 3 of my fucking players, just all fucking just shit the bed. And so yeah, I don't think I'm in a place yet. I'm definitely not in a place yet where I'm going to replace any of these assholes. I could try to make a play for Kayshon Boutte on the waiver wire, but it's week 1. Like, I'm not doing that. I think I'm like 7th right now in the waiver. Like, no, like, I'm going to be patient and I'm just going to see what happens. There's no Puka Nacua on the waiver wire. There's nobody good on our waiver wire because we're on a 16-league team. So even everybody's handcuffs that nobody's thinking about have been drafted already.
Yeah, it's funny because you talked about my bench so I'm looking at our matchup right now, and because I picked up, like you. I'm worried about you actually have an extra wide receiver in your bench than I do. And partly because I did play the waivers the week before, mainly because I was looking at the situation as a whole, as far as this league goes. And I said, okay, I had no backup tight, and we joked about this, no backup tight end, and in case something happens, and no backup QB in case something happens. So I was looking at tight end. I'm like, let me just get one. And I found the Saints guy. I'm like, okay, he's actually tight end 1 on the depth chart for them. Not taken.
Yep.
I'm like, it's the Saints. Yeah, they're going to suck. But you know what? Tight ends with bad QBs are the handcuff. They're like the safety net.
Yes.
And he got, though on my bench, 11.6. I picked up Krosky Merritt because he was a rookie. I knew nothing about his preseason. People were talking about, he's 4th. But then they were showing great. 14.2 and Charbonnet 10.7. But the hard part is I have no wide receivers. I have Lockett.
I know you can't play all these fucking running backs that you have.
So I'm hoping for trade value in a little bit, just something. But so to your point is this, Soto. Yeah, you can't play the waivers, but you got to start looking ahead a little bit. Because I will say this: Waller wasn't your tight end diagnosed as out. Like, didn't he didn't play, correct?
Yeah.
So if I were you, or if I was you before that, I would have put that in IR and just randomly picked up anybody for free. Because you wouldn't, you know what I'm saying? Because then you could have taken a chance on a booty or just have him there. And then, eventually you'll have to decide, well, do I drop Waller? Do I drop your booty? But then you can be like, well, maybe I'll keep him. So that's the only thing. But I'm personally now worried about when my wide receivers go on by. That's where I'm like, oh shit. But I back to that. I had to pick up. So I was like, okay, let me pick up Joe Flacco because we joked. There was only 3-4 QBs. Flacco was the best option. It was him or Russell Wilson. And I'm like, Brock Purdy. And now, obviously, this is before Purdy got injured. And I don't know if this is going to be long term. What's going to happen? I'm assuming he's going to be out, though. But I'm like, Purdy's bye week. Flacco plays the Titans. I'm like, all right, we'll see. That's probably the best thing. It's not like he's playing Baltimore, which he is next. So, if I have to start Flacco, he's playing Baltimore next week. You're right. I do have a lot of running back depth, and I'm hoping a couple start paying off, but at least that's my flex. But like I said, if like Walker and Seattle gets injured, well, now I can trade either Charbonnet or Hubbard. Probably the most like Hubbard. I'll want to keep Charbonnet. That's what I need. I need to get like a fourth receiver that I'm confident as a third receiver. You know what I'm saying? So I don't mind my, T. Higgins bombed for me 4.8. And Dunze and Purcell, they got me 12. Gentile only got me 11. But week 1's in the books regardless. So week 2.
There is.
I don't want to go through every game, Soto, but I can tell you I'm already eyeing a game that's probably going to be the game of the week. Eagles
are I think I might have the same one.
Eagles and Chiefs. Well,
you thinking that one?
Well, I'd say a few. Which one? Well, Commanders and Packers could be a good game, but that's a Thursday game. What one are you looking at?
One,
that's a Thursday game. That should be a good game. But I'm just saying right now, because think about this: the Chiefs, if they lose, they're 0-2 because they lost to the Chargers. Eagles,
Chiefs.
Yeah, that could be
poor babies.
We'll see. But no, think about it. Super Bowl rematch. Yeah. No, you're right. Packers and Commanders should be a good game. I'm kind of looking through the rest. Anything could be a good game, but I mean, obviously,
Super Bowl losers have I don't know what the record is, but it's not good. Like the teams that lose Super Bowls, usually the next season, it's not good.
I will say this though.
So,
last time Chiefs went 0-2, they ended up winning the Super Bowl. People were counting them out. This is whatever a few years ago. So it's a start, but I just like to see. I mean,
look, there is one team recently that has lost Super Bowl and the next year won it. And that was the New England Patriots. But, I mean, sure, it's possible. But you can't be losing to shitty teams. You can't be going on 3 games. I don't know. The Eagles, I think, are still a better team than the Chiefs.
Oh, 100%.
The Chiefs just lost Xavier Worthy for whatever. I mean, I don't know what Hollywood Brown is going to do. And Kelsey, is the one who injured Xavier Worthy. So, I don't know. The Chiefs have a decent defense, so there's there. But I think it's still like right now, especially after that Bills and Ravens game, like that seems to me that's like the cream of the crop in the AFC, but that's only week 1.
Yeah. Chiefs is just that team that will always kind of be there, AFC wise. But like I said,
as long as you have a good quarterback, you could be in any game, and they have one of the best. So
I got Mahomes in my Guillotine League right now. He's my main starter, but the good thing is I actually like there's some QBs. Like I said, I can put in for Dak if I want. I'm not gonna waste it. I mean money on a QB. I just want Chase Brown, but just give me points. Get me friggin' points. That's all I'm asking. So, but let's
trying to take a look at Browns Ravens. Yeah, I'm like looking at that's over. Okay, Patriots Dolphins. That's gonna be just a slap fight of 2 teams going in different directions. So I don't know.
And your McCaffrey plays the Saints, so that even with the Mac Jones led team, I think McCaffrey's going to eat game.
McCaffrey kind of ate. The only thing that McCaffrey didn't do was score a touchdown in that game.
He didn't. I didn't actually look at the. I mean, obviously you know better than I would.
His stats were so last week.
I'm pulling it up.
I'll tell you exactly what his stats are because it's in our game. But his stats were he had 73 receiving yards and 69 rushing yards.
Yeah, 9 receptions.
If he had gotten 1 or 2 TDs, like 1 TD,
you would have won. You would have beaten me. I mean, I only beat you by 3 points. I mean? That's not close.
And that's him coming. That's him coming back. So I think that this is as long as he's good. This is the McCaffrey that we're used to seeing.
Yeah.
And that bodes well for me. But I got to get some production from
Receivers.
my other dudes too. So, I mean, hopefully J-Mo goes off, and I think the Cowboys are going to, his Cowboys going against the Giants. And then Calvin Ridley's going against the Los Angeles Rams, and he's at home. So though the matchups feel like they might be better this week for me than they were last week. Green Bay, obviously, I'm just gonna fucking let it ride. I don't care. And then Matt Gay, he didn't do much.
Yeah, I might have to pick up a new kicker. There's rumors that Atlanta's going to try out their rookie kicker, so I have to keep. And that's just going to be a quick squad. But for my receivers, Higgins. I mean, obviously Cincinnati can't turn up. They're playing Jacksonville. They're at home. So I have a little bit more hope. Rome is at Detroit, but I have a feeling because Ben Johnson's going to want to really try and show out this game and beat the Lions. That's a game he wants. And then, with the injury, Purcell, we'll see. I mean, if he eats as well as McKinney, because Kittle's injured too. Correct? Yeah, Kittle's out, so that's going to bode well for our players. And then I got Genty against the Chargers, so we'll see.
Darth Maul, huh? She never really usually wins.
She won last
bottom
week.
Of our league. She does. You guys are both the battle of the 1-0.
Yeah.
She's got Dickert the kicker. She's got Chris Olave at you.
Yeah, she scored 100 points last week, so she outscored both of us.
That's better than I did.
Josh Allen probably helps. Better than I did last week. Yeah.
Having Josh Allen on your team probably helps as your QB.
Yep, and oh my gosh, she's got a huge Monday night game. Nico Collins and Mike Evans. So yeah, if they shoot out, we'll see. We'll see. I mean, like I said, I'm slated. I'm 5 points, projection behind her. My receivers. I did throw in my tight end who's not projected as high, but I think he's going to do better. I think Saints are just going to keep it safe. And I might look for a defense. There's a couple defenses. I'm going to see what's available. Maybe see if I can play around with it. I don't know yet. That's the hard. Again, 16-team league is just so fucking hard. Just like there's.
I mean, it's going to be trades. I'm going to hopefully dangle, Chase Brown in a trade to get, some wide receiver depth or something, because I think to a certain point, like we were just talking about, like you can't have a bunch of running backs in this league, because even if they're doing great on your bench. You can't put them anywhere else, especially if you have a starting running back that like Genty that you're going to ride basically. And your flex is going to be Chuba. Well, if you trade Chuba, like it frees it up, but you're going to have to start unloading some of this like running back capital.
Well, that's why I'm going to see what happens in Seattle. Charbonnet could overtake Walker. He's taking passing down, so it's becoming more 50-50 at this cross-game merit. So if they start boosting it up, like I definitely have a right, but I need to show the stats. Having 3 is okay because at least 3 are bye weeks and stuff like that. But if Charbonnet is the clear starter in Seattle, like something happens to Walker, I'm starting Charbonnet over Hubbard every day. I mean, and then I can, show off Hubbard.
Nothing's happened to Walker, and fucking Charbonnet was like out rushing him.
Yeah, no, I was going off the last 2 years because I've had Walker, so I kind of know he eats. Like Charbonnet barely came in until Walker got injured, and then Charbonnet gets the same numbers as Walker. So you're right. I mean, if he keeps performing, that's huge trade value. It's just a matter of when. You need to get it when you're at the high. But if Charbonnet is going to be more of the starter, I might have to flash out Hubbard more because, I'm writing Genty. Right. He's my first pick. I told you, 7th pick, I said, no, I'm reaching down. I want Genty on my team. I don't know why. I'm going to die on this hill.
I wanted Henry so bad. So it killed me when he had 29 points this week. But somebody not reached, but somebody went down for Henry. And that left me, as soon as I had McCaffrey, I was like, I had to go with McCaffrey. I just didn't think that Malik Neighbors or Drake London was going to be what it was going to be about at that pick. And I took a chance on CMC. Hopefully he stays healthy. And, when he goes off, he can win you weeks just by himself.
Oh, yeah.
I might need that in my team. My team's going to be so inconsistent, so.
Yeah, that's how I feel about my team. Like I said, I got lucky. That last play against you, got a little lucky. So, and
it's perfect, dude. Honestly, it's like I feel like it was meant to be. Like that's why I just believe
pretty much the final play.
I believe in the universe and like the spiritual like essence of the universe, because I'm telling you, I just like knew that was gonna fucking happen. I had to watch it, and then when it did happen, I just was like, fuck. Patriots lost, and I lost in fantasy.
Yeah, so you see, the football gods just, like I said, give me one.
I knew it. I just knew it.
I was like, one or the other.
Couldn't. I knew I wasn't allowed to squeak by with the sub 90 performance with that kind of bullshit. I knew that the gods were going to be like, no, you don't deserve to win this weekend. You know, ball don't lie. So when I saw number 15 make that catch, man, I just was like, that's how we're going to start this year. We're going to start this year on an L. So,
it happens. It's just what, as we said, it's same with our, Pats and Bears. It happens. So, but I want to talk about a trade. Did you hear? I'm sure you heard by now. Bigsby went to Philly. They traded him.
Yeah.
So now my Will Shipley. Yeah. So now I'm definitely. I mean, in my work league, I'm definitely dumping him. There's now no, which is fine because I think he's going to be injured.
What's the point?
Correct. Now it's like he's not even the second guy. So I am waiting. I'm not going to use waivers. I'm going to, because it's only a 12-team league. I'm going to see how it plays out. But most likely, I'm going to look because I have Ingram. That's my tight end right now because I'm going to see what tight ends are available tomorrow and probably get just drop him for a decent tight end. If that Saints tight end still there, I'll probably pick him up. But we'll see. But yeah, I was like, oh, Shipley, here's Ship a sale. Like, I don't know. They won't say how much he's injured. But yeah, I'm like,
that was cute while it lasted.
Yeah, well, it was. Hey, that's why handcuffs are hit or miss. But like, it's if you have room on the bench in our league, you have to take those chances. Just because again, 16 teams, there's just fucking nobody. Casoto, let's we got a little time here. Let me go to our league real quick here. I mean, let's have some fun. In the 16, like I said, QBs. The only two starting QBs that are available right now is Russell Wilson and Rattler. That is it.
Oh my!
That is
fucking God.
Technically, for some
reason,
for 5 points
is Tyler.
Yes. Obviously, Mac Jones is still available but I'm like, that's part of the reason I got Flacco. You look at wide receivers. The highest projected wide receiver is Deontay Johnson, who coach's decision not on roster. So I don't even know where he's at. What's going on? But technically, he's got 5-point game log, and then the second receiver is Trey Harris. That's kind of like where we're at as far as.
Can I still pick up Amari Cooper?
You can. Oh wait. Oh, actually, hold on. I'm sure you can. See, yep. You can pick up. Cooper's projected 2.55 points. I'm like, didn't he retire? How is he projected?
He did. He retired before they even I would do that just to make the league laugh. Just so when you look at transactions, they're like, in the Lawrence Salone's pick up Amari Cooper as a stash for the season.
He's gonna come out of retirement.
Dude, I think I did that for Gronkowski too. Gronkowski had just retired, and I had a spot, and just as a joke, I just fucking was like, yeah, Gronkowski's gonna be my good luck charm on the bench. Fuck, my last pick last year was fucking Ricky Pearsall, your boy. Scored you these points this week.
Yeah, I definitely take it.
He betrayed me. He betrayed the love that I gave him last year. Oh God. He was my last pick. I mean, Waller, I'll probably end up. Waller's like my. I will dump this immediately. Like, it's basically an open slot. So as soon as I see something, that's like my kind of rotating slot, because the other guys I'm not ready to dump. Like, I'm, maybe if what's his face, Addison shows back up on the Vikings and Thielen loses some value there. Maybe Thielen is like the one, but I don't know. I'm not in a rush in the first 2 or 3 weeks.
No, I'm just kind of now looking, like I said, wide receiver. Like, that's where, if I can, because again, I have Lockett, and he did nothing. I mean, I know he's Sensei, I don't expect him, but he's really it for a bench. So, and I have Coker on my IR, so at least I know we'll see what happens in a few weeks when he comes back. But mostly it's running backs. I have my backup QB, and I have 2 tight ends just in case, because like I said, there is not much in this league. Because the best running back is Roschon Johnson, who was injured on the Bears on Monday night.
Oh,
you can also get Corum from the Rams.
I hate him.
Oh, I always say
it's gonna have to be trades, man. Trades are the only thing. I've never done it too often in this. I probably do 1 or 2, but the only way to get better in this league, in a 16-person league, is to just You got to trade. That's it.
Let's talk about this. So when do you start looking for another team to trade with? Because here's the thing, like you said, how early?
Let's start thinking. I start thinking maybe like week 4.
Week 4. So
I don't know.
Well, week 4. Here's the thing. It depends how far ahead you want to look forward to. Because yes, if you look at week 4, start looking for the teams that are 0-3, 1-2, and hope that they ever. Because I will tell you this, not yet, but I am going to go through teams and see who might have like a running back problem, who might not just who went heavy and just be like, listen, you want to do this for this and just hope for the best. I agree with you. Week 3 and 4. After week 3, kind of see where you're at. Unless one of my receivers get injured. If one of my main 3 receivers get injured, I'm looking now. Injury aside, though, yeah, you got to start kind of putting that team together or get that waiver wire spot. Because the problem is teams who don't have a backup QB, who don't have a backup this, sooner or later, they're going to have to make us drop a guy to get on the bye week. And if you can get their waiver wire, it might not be the best, but you can get who they drop. So I don't know. We'll see. We shall see. But
I got some time. I mean, Baker's week 9 for me. And then I got 3 guys on week 10 that have a bye, so that'll be fun.
Am I playing you week 10? That'll be good.
Week 10?
I know.
Week 10 is good to get me at because I'm going to be struggling. But I'd like more. I'd like to have more wide receiver depth, because I go back to the mistake that was made around the 5th, 6th round, whatever. That didn't sit right by me. The Cam Scatabo pick.
Mm-hmm.
That seems kind of iffy to me. I'm happy to have him in case anything does happen, but even if he's scoring 12 points, I can't put him anywhere. Christian McCaffrey and Chase Brown are like both locked in.
Yeah.
But I could get value for Chase Brown. I'm not going to trade Christian McCaffrey, although I'm not open to it.
Well, that would have to be a huge payoff. That would almost have to be like a wide receiver and a possible like a strong tight end or even a QB. Like if for some reason
I need like a fucking serious wide receiver.
Correct.
And then I just would be like, have Christian McCaffrey. Like I'm good with it. But a wide receiver that I'm like, I have a sample size I can see, and I'd be like, no, this guy's going to eat in this offense. He's a beast. I would trade Christian McCaffrey, but again, week 3 or 4, just like you said, maybe week 3 or 4. Right now, it's like I'm favored. I like the matchups in my fantasy team next week. So hopefully we'll have a bounce back. And if we're 0-2, then I was listening to these guys who do this fantasy podcast, and they're like, just look at your season in chunks. Okay, what do I need to do next? Okay, what am I doing? What are the matchups like? Break it down and try to dig yourself out of these holes. I mean, you've come back from 1-3. I've come back from 1-3. Like it's a long ass season. I've seen guys who are 4-6 squeak into the playoffs and win the championship.
Yeah, that's what I did.
It just matters of how you just have to not give up. Essentially, like you have to keep working it and trying to find the angles and trying to work the matchups and trying to see what you can do. Like that's the best. You can't. Like right now in the beginning of the season, I'm in a set it and forget it kind of a vibe, and I'm fighting it. So and it's like week 1 because I'm like I've always been sort of impatient when it comes to this stuff. Same thing I talked about with poker, where I hate folding. So folding makes me go on tilt because I don't feel like I'm actively playing the game. And then when I do play a hand, I'm excited to play the hand. And then if I lose, I get really pissed.
Mm-hmm.
So it puts me on tilt. So I'm trying to work on just patience and being like, okay, yes, I did get fucked over last night. That's okay. We're going to have the same approach next week. And then if I win, great. I'm still going to look at ways that I can improve. And if I lose, I'm still going to be looking at ways to improve. So I'm going to have the same approach either way and just look at it kind of like in chunks like that. Because I feel pretty good about how I drafted. I feel pretty good about my team. But shit happens. You lose and fucking it is what it is.
No, 100% agreed. And I think the only thing I'll look differently next year is I know I have a couple handcuffs. Maybe just get that one extra wide receiver in that middle class. That might have been the
hell yeah.
thing. But
hell yeah.
But you're right.
Oh hell yeah.
The thing is you can't totally panic your first 3-4 weeks because you, like I said, you drafted these guys for a reason. You play, like I said, you play your studs. You know, you're going to have off weeks. Sooner or later, they're going to hit. And if you're bouncing back and forth too much, you might fuck up. So, because I think bye weeks officially start week 5. Because I think I could be wrong, maybe week 4, but I'm going to say week 5 is when like the first round in the NFL. That's when, okay, where's my, that's kind of the first chunk. Just play who you can. If you make a change, it's got to be because of injury or just because it's a better matchup and you already have it. Like I said, I'm starting my second tight end. I'm not getting rid of my other tight end. I feel like he's going to give me more points, even though he's projected lower. I could be wrong. But like I said, everyone else I'm starting now. Am I worried? I am a little worried in the future, but I can't worry yet. If I somehow first 4 weeks get 3 wins, that's a win. Like I told you so. At first, I'm like, okay, this is doable. But, I'm like, I could lose this. Like 10 points, definitely doable, obviously. But I'm like, you never know. And it's the Bears. And I kind of, at halftime, I've accepted my fate. Like, I'm going to lose the soda. Like, there's just something like, if the Bears win, I'm okay. Because, even if I lose the soda, I'll have my Bears win. But then football God said, no, let's do this the other way around. Let's remind him why he's a Bears fan, but he's going to beat his friend. So I'm like, all right, I got my fantasy. Like I said, I won across the board. All 3 of I survived the guillotine, which I will say, Yahoo has a fun little animated, because when you go on Yahoo and you go back to the, it's like, hey, you won, you lost, and sometimes there's confetti or like sad for bones, whatever.
Yeah.
In the Guillotine League, it comes up and it says, you survived, that. But then it shows like a guillotine, like a shadow of a guillotine come down, and then it goes and it says swipe up to kick a field goal, but you're not kicking a ball, you're kicking their avatar, their icon, their name icon. So I'm like, oh, I'm really sorry. Funny. So the guy that lost, his name was Shoe. When I did the live thing, I'm like, oh my God, I love this name. Someone just called their team Shoe. And I don't know why. I'm just like, I love it. And he lost. And so, yeah, I just, and again, it's something simple. It's just like a game. You just swipe, you're going to score no matter how you swipe, but it's just like, yep, bye. So I love this guillotine format. It's a way that you can do an extra league, play it differently. So it's like, okay, because again, I'm into this first time I've done 2 serious leagues like this. I've done fun leagues, but when it's money, I think people take it more seriously. So yes, I got my work one and my one. So that to me is frantic because I'm trying to root with different people. I'm like, okay, I need Rome to do well. I need, DeAndre Swift to not get 25 points, which I was confident, but shit happens. But yeah, so it's going to be interesting. So yeah, right now, I did survive. Now there's only 13 teams left. I'm kind of projected at 9th. So, it depends on how this plays out as far as who picks up what waiver wire. But with the starters,
you're not like so much going against anybody. You're just trying to survive. Points.
So yeah, when you're looking, like it'll still give you a matchup, but it gives you the matchup of whoever's in last place. So if you're going through if you're watching throughout Sunday, it'll show you a matchup to whoever's last, unless you're last, and it's second to last. And there's a little thing like it says, how far are you in the safe or risk meter? So like right now, all mine I'm in the middle, obviously, because a little bit depends where that is. But as the games go on, like most of the game, I was left hand safe. Like I felt pretty confident going into last night that I was gonna be fine. Like they would have had to have a blowout, all these, so. I'm like, whatever. I'm technically not there. But once I passed the guy who was 7 points, I'm like, all right, it's official. I don't have to worry about this. But yeah, you don't have to beat anyone. You just can't be last. And that's it.
Wow. We're definitely doing this next year. Next year.
So I will say this. I mean, if you want, Soto, they're still doing free leagues. Just go on. And then so you can kind of just see how it goes. Because I technically did a couple leagues, and I'm not going to talk about it because, like I said, it's not taking us seriously. Some guy called this team Taysom Hill, and he paid $500 on waiver to get Taysom Hill. So that tells you, the first thing. So, but when it's no money, you're having fun with it. But what was good is like, okay, I can see, and you can understand what I mean because, like I said, you have $1,000 for the whole season. Mm-hmm. So the question is, how do you feel about your team? Like the guy who finished 13th place, as he goes, fuck, I need to really go out. I don't like it. I'm going to put a lot of money on Chase Brown. I'm going to put a lot of money on, I forget who else, Jones. So like maybe he spends a lot of his money up front so he can start surviving. So that's really where the game's at because I can see how much money, because obviously right now Everyone's at this is the first full week because in the money league, no one did anything like the day after the draft. So you can also see how much people have left in their bank. So like if me and you were playing, if you spent $800, you have 200 left, and I have 600, and I really want a guy, I'm betting 201 because I know I'm going to beat you. So
of course,
this is the mind game I like, and I'm technically third waiver as well, so I'm gonna probably keep that because I don't know. I put in money for Chase Brown. I want to, but yeah, it's different, and I think that's why I like. But back to my point, go on Yahoo, just go draft. Hell, just have an auto draft if you don't want to spend the time, because again, not a lot of people take it seriously. But play a little of the season, and just that way you can kind of see how it works. And then next year, the hard part is this: Yahoo, you can't invite friends to the same league unless somehow we're lucky and it's all random. But if we can if we can find, I think having more people, this is where it's benefit. Like a 16 team league would be perfect because then every week almost someone gets cut off. It can go up to 18. If we can find enough people, I would say at least, if we had 12 total, that's a good number. If we only had 6, I don't know if Guillotine would be as fun. Because, by week 5, it's over.
Well, I wonder if Dan, you said he has a guillotine.
He did. Yeah. So if you want to talk to him about next year to see if the two of us can get in.
Yeah.
Because I did message him. I said, hey, you put this in there. Is there any room? And I'm like, if not, and he said, no, it's all filled. I'm like, no, thank you. Don't worry about it. I was just curious. And then I saw
it's an exciting fucking thing,
Yeah, it is. Except if you lose week 1. Well, if you lose week 1, it sucks. But you're like, well, I don't have to worry about shit in this league anymore. It's like,
it's hilarious. You're like, I lost week 1, and I'm done with the guillotine. I mean, that's how it goes.
It is. But like I said, the big thing is because now because obviously both teams are going to get stronger towards the end because again, the losing team, their team gets dumped into waivers. So it's not like, it's like, okay, you don't have to worry if you just get a strong week 1 draft. Don't worry too much about backups and, depending on how you draft, just maybe a couple chances here and there. But Soto, 1 QB, 2 running backs, 2 receivers, 1 tight end, 1 flex. That's it.
Mm-hmm.
Simple.
Oh,
simple. No defense.
No kickers. No defense.
No nothing. It's just the simplest. Yeah, simple. And so
you draft like regular, right?
It's snake draft. Everything is regular. I'm kind of right now 7 bench spots. So you do want to fill up your bench because I would say almost this is a league where you want to fill up with handcuffs. Just because you never know having that strength. And I think you can technically trade. I haven't even looked. But to me, it's all about the auction on the waivers. Because, you could bid 300 and you're like, oh, I'm going to overspend. And some guy's like, no, I need this guy 600. You'll keep your money, but yeah. So again, I like it because it's like, okay, do you spend your money now, build a better team, get through these weeks, but then worry about what can happen? Or if your team's strong enough, do you maybe save that? And then the last 2 weeks, just go crazy on the bench so the other guy can't get it. Just like, well, I know he can't pick up anyone. Because if the guy has $0, hey, like if it's me and you in the final round, and you have $0, and I still have even if I had 100, I'm like, I'll get Chase Brown for $1. Oh, I'll get Joe Burrow for $1. Oh, I'll get Saquon Barkley for $1. I'm just saying.
Oh yeah,
I know you have nothing. Now you can put in a bid for $0. That's where waivers come in, so you don't have to auction anything. But yeah, you can be like, okay, I'm going to load my bench so he doesn't get these guys and I can start him. So yeah, it is. And I like the form, and it's just a different way to play. But yeah, you're right. It's like week 1, that guy's done. And I think this league, I only threw in $20. Top 3 get paid. I think, like I said, first place was 140, second was like 80 something, and third place you get your money back. So that's it. So as long as I make top 3,
awesome.
Yeah, it's so, like I said, I just started, but like, okay, but you don't have to worry about injuries because you're going to find people on waivers. That's the thing, even if you might not find the strongest, you're like, okay, maybe I didn't get that, but can I throw in Tyreek Hill on the flex? Maybe that's better than what you have. But yeah, it's interesting. So we'll see. Obviously, I'll talk about this week by week until I get cut. And yeah, we'll see how this goes. Unfortunately, though, I do have Mahomes facing Philly, so I might look at the QBs and we'll see. We shall see. Everything.
He isn't home at least. Like he is.
I mean,
don't play that well.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, the best that I think was available right now is Dak, and I don't know who they're playing. So, you got to kind of ride Mahomes. But we'll see. I have Connor. I have Irving.
Over Dak, yeah.
But But yeah, I definitely one way or another. Unless we get into your friends league, Guillotine League, same league, which talk to them because I'll happily do it. You know, whatever price. Even like I said, 50 this one. I only did 20.
Oh yeah.
Because it's hilarious. But yeah, Soto, you don't have to worry about any kickers. You don't have to worry about defenses. Just survive.
I'll have to see how he does it though, because he's got a strange concept of how he does things. Because the three wide receiver thing is kind of like it's an interesting type of fantasy league, but I do kind of wish it was more. There was one more RB spot. Also I hate the kicker defense thing. It's an extra chore that I have to do the kicker defense thing.
Yeah. I will say, yeah. I mean, if he does the generic Yahoo ones, that's how. But we, like I said, if me and you did a league, we could just set it up.
Yeah.
However, and like I said, I would get rid of defense. Kicker, I have no problem with. Kicker, the only thing I would ever do different if I ran a league is instead of like I would do their points based on yardage. So if they kick a 53 yarder, it's 5.3. They kick a 26 yarder, it's 2.6. I know this league does the 3-4-5. Most leagues do 3 points for a field goal, period. But I always felt like the longer field goals should get you more points. But I'm with you. We can say no kicker, no defense. We can do 2 QBs, 2 receivers, so we can do it however the fuck we want. When you run a league,
QBs.
Well, if we did 2 QBs, we could only have 16 teams. There's no way because we'd have to be somewhat fair about it. I mean, that would be an interesting draft. You would almost have, if you did I did hear, you know, if you do 2 QB leagues, you almost have to draft QBs kind of first because that's somewhere where you can now go strong. But yeah, anyhow, that's a joke. I mean, if we do our own league, we'll obviously discuss everything. You know, if we just did the basic, you know, Yahoo, that's it. You know, 1 QB, 2, you know, 1 flex. I do like the dollar. I do like the auction. At first I was a little bit iffy. I'm like, all right, how does this work? But it makes sense. It's not favored for waiver. It's this is your prize money, your free agency money. But like I said, after the first day, so like today, all the bids are in. Tomorrow, whoever wins, but whoever doesn't get picked, it's free range. It will cost you nothing. So it's not like you have to spend money. It's just if you want the first dibs on them. So.
And what time does that switch over? So is there like a time? Is it like 3:30, 4 o'clock in the morning?
It's like, yeah. So Yahoo, it's 3:30. And I've seen people like I will tell you this. I've told you like countless times, or people. I sometimes wake up in the middle of the night and I can't get back to sleep. I get up to, you know, so I'm literally lying there. My brain is wide awake. And so I'll like turn on videos, I'll turn on music, and I've sat in bed for like a couple hours and nothing works. So yes, if it's around a time of fantasy, I'll wait and I'm like, oh, waivers went through, and then I'll quickly just kind of pick through.
Because it's only that's hilarious.
Well, I know some people who set their alarm and just be like, okay, they'll kind of get whatever cleanup, and I'm like, all right, I'm not that crazy, but I'm like, if I'm wide awake. And I'll look, I'm like, yeah, so roughly 3:30, but sometimes I guess it depends whenever they push it. I've seen it to 4. You know, it depends how they're running it. So yeah, I don't know exactly for Yahoo, but yeah, like I said, talk to Dan, and if you can get us both in a league, Guillotine League, I'll do the AFL and Guillotine League, and that'd be, at least then we don't have to worry. But like I said, you know, because then someone else is running it, but I would find out how he's running, because we can do a Guillotine League with kickers, we can do it with defenses. You set it up however you want. Just the basic format. I did not change. Obviously, I'm just doing it on their site. That's how they do it. And
I can basically just go like, hey, dude, like, you know, if you end up getting 2 spots, like Chad and I are like, you know, can you just
talk to us next year? Yeah. Because you can do up to 18 teams.
We'll definitely be there.
Yeah.
Up to 18 teams?
Well, think about it. 17 weeks. So,
oh my fucking god!
But that's the thing. So that's why but all you need is a strong starter. You just can't lose. And remember, every week the waivers wire change because their whole team gets stumped. So now that's where the fight comes in. So I would love to do that. And that's why I think with this strategy. Say what?
So much strategy.
Yeah. Well,
which is interesting.
Exactly. And that's why I like the $1,000, because you can set it to where it's just worst team or lowest points gets first waiver wire pick, and then it just goes worse, you know. But I'm like, I like the money thing better. It's a different, make this different. So yeah, ask him, you know, and then see the rules. And like I said, worst comes to worst, maybe we can set something up. Because again, if we have 12 is fine. like I said, 14. The more teams, it just works better because it goes through a more season. Just having an 18 league, yeah, it's over at week 7, which whatever, someone will win the money, blah blah blah. But I think having the 14, 16 teams, it's fantastic. I think it's hilarious. Shoes out. So, but I'll keep you posted every week. As long as I'm in it, I will tell you what's going on in Guillotine. Once I'm out, I'll kind of at least kind of see, and hopefully I get. I did put in, I wouldn't say a good chunk of change, but I put in a decent bet for Chase Brown. And I think I have to go through all my waivers tonight. So just make sure I got everything in. Our league, I'm not putting waivers. I want to get up a little bit. Like I said, the waiver wire.
No, I'm not doing shit with waivers.
No, I'm fine.
Kayshon Boutte, no.
If Bootie's there tomorrow, I'll think about it, just to have a wide receiver, but I'm not rushing. But I'm just because I have Tyler Lockett and I'm just not sold. I can easily drop him for a possible.
Yeah,
like even if it's a second or third rookie, that's where I'm not getting rid of anyone else. I'm keeping my running backs. I'm keeping my backup tight end and QB right now until I can at least get through buys. But we'll see. I might. Yeah, Purdy's out. I gotta start Flacco. But anyhow, so we've been doing this over an hour. Yeah, like we talk fantasy. We'll do this again next week if you're free Tuesday. Hopefully we'll see if people join. Blah blah blah. But yeah, I like talking. It helps me think. You're talking out loud with someone about this too. So it's like, okay, what are you doing? What am I doing? But that's because
what's your philosophy? Yeah, we sure did, and it took the L on that one. But we'll see. We'll see what part 2 looks like. Yeah, but there's always a sequel that comes out with these things.
Yeah, because we were facing each other another time, correct?
Yeah, so we'll see how it goes. I think so. I think it's like twice. I'd have to double check, but yeah, no, I'll be back. I'll be back.
I know. We'll have another fight, but until then, we have our own opponents and we'll talk things out. Because this goes into what, week 16? Well, no, week 15 is the start of playoffs, right? This league does things a little bit. Yeah. So we'll see. Well, one win. I will take it. 1-0. Good start. I got to now win my next 2.
Feeling good. You're like, I'm the fucking New Orleans Saints of 2024. Just feeling good.
Just get me to a good start. I'm like you. I'm looking at the first 4 weeks before bye weeks. Like, all right, where am I at? Because that's the thing. This league, every division winner gets basically their money back, right? I think that was kind of the thing. So I'm like, that's all I need to do right now. Just if I have a good start, I'm the division leader after like 4 weeks. I'm like, all right, it's a good start. Just get there. But you're right. It's all about building the team. So we'll see who's available next week.
It really is. I mean, people are going to be injured. There's going to be ups and downs. I mean, you've been here before.
Oh, we all have some. All right. Well, that will do it. That's week 1. And yeah, we can do this again next week. Just kind of hop on. I'll probably turn on my fan to cool off a little bit because fuck it, no one's listening anyways. But yeah, if you made it to the end and listened to our BS, great. Let us know what you think. So I'm getting ready for some football. That's all I can say. Have a good week.